In American politics, a primary race inside one party rarely makes national news. But in February 2026, the Texas Democratic Senate primary broke through, not because of a debate or a policy fight, but because of two back-to-back controversies that raised questions about race, money, and media that went far beyond Texas. This is the documented record of what happened. Welcome to Under Scrutiny. The race came down to two candidates: U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett of Dallas, a two-term Congresswoman, civil rights attorney, and one of the most recognizable progressive voices in the House. She filed to run on December 8, 2025, the final day allowed under Texas election law. That same day, former Representative Colin Allred, who had been running for the same seat, withdrew. According to CNN, Crockett had asked Allred to step aside. With Allred out, the primary became a two-person race. Her opponent? Texas State Representative James Talarico of Austin, a 36-year-old former teacher, Harvard-educated, and Presbyterian seminarian who had been running since September 2025. His campaign argument, reported by CNN and the New York Times, was that winning Texas statewide required appealing beyond the Democratic base, drawing in independents and moderate Republicans. Crockett's argument, per KERA News, was the opposite: drive up turnout in communities that historically vote at lower rates, particularly Texas's majority-minority population. By the time early voting began, the financial gap was significant. According to CNN, Talarico had raised more than $20 million. Crockett raised approximately $3.7 million after entering in December, plus $4.8 million transferred from her House campaign account. The pro-Talarico super PAC, Lone Star Rising, reported $6.1 million in contributions between January 1st and February 11, 2026, per the Texas Tribune. More than half came from a dark money group, meaning original donors did not have to be disclosed. Among identifiable donors, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman gave $500,000, and Austin philanthropist Simone Cox contributed $400,000. Crockett also had a super PAC supporting her, Texas Forward, but it did not begin spending until after the deadline requiring donor disclosure before the March 3rd primary, per the Texas Tribune. Before we get to February 20th, there is one piece of context that set the tone for everything that followed. Earlier in February, Colin Allred posted a video on social media addressing a claim circulating on TikTok. A Dallas-based content creator had alleged that Talarico, in a private conversation, had referred to Allred as a, and this is the alleged quote, mediocre black man. Allred's video reached more than 4 million views. He used it to endorse Crockett and call on Democrats to reject Talarico. Talarico's campaign denied the characterization. Their official statement read, "This is a mischaracterization of a private conversation. In my praise of Congresswoman Crockett, I described Congressman Allred's method of campaigning as mediocre, but his life and service are not." There is no official confirmation of what Talarico said in that private conversation. The allegation came from a social media creator, not a journalist or a direct on-record witness. That controversy had not fully settled when the next one arrived. On February 16, 2026, President's Day, Talarico was scheduled to appear on CBS's The Late Show with Stephen Colbert for a taped interview. That night, Colbert opened his show without Talarico and told his audience, "He was supposed to be here, but we were told in no uncertain terms by our network's lawyers, who called us directly, that we could not have him on the broadcast." Colbert framed it as pressure from the Trump administration through the FCC's equal time rule, which generally requires broadcasters to give equal airtime to all candidates in a race if one appears on air. The interview was posted to YouTube instead, where it accumulated more than 8 million views, per Fox News Digital and Houston Public Media. Talarico's campaign announced it raised $2.5 million in the 24 hours that followed. CBS issued a statement clarifying the decision was not a prohibition, The network said the show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the equal time rule for 2 other candidates, including Crockett, and the show chose YouTube over fulfilling equal time obligations on air. Colbert pushed back on that statement, calling it, in his words, crap. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr called the entire controversy a hoax, saying Talarico took advantage of prior conceptions to run it, apparently for the purpose of raising money and getting clicks. Crockett said on Morning Joe on February 20th that she had not been invited onto Colbert's show since launching her Senate campaign, despite having appeared on it twice before. She said CBS's parent company called her after the story broke and told her they did not tell Colbert he could not air the segment. And then came February 20th, the first day of early voting. On that day, Crockett stood before reporters and made a direct, on-the-record allegation about political advertising in the primary. Her words, captured on video and reported by Spectrum News Texas, Fox News Digital, The Latin Times, and HuffPost. It's not even undertones right now. It is straight-up racist. She continued, I look at this specifically as a civil rights lawyer, and I see when they're sending out ads and they're darkening my skin, and I'm just like, I know what this is, right? She also said, the thing that is not normal is for me to be attacked from the left. That is the new wild card in this scenario. She described the electability argument, the idea she could not win statewide, as a dog whistle that was tearing down a black woman. And she criticized Talarico directly for not condemning the ad, saying that cannot be the way that we proceed. According to Spectrum News Texas, Crockett pointed to the Lone Star Rising PAC as the source of the ad. Per Fox News Digital, she did not identify a specific ad by name. HuffPost described the ad as using a darkened filter throughout its 30-second runtime, including for other people in the ad, not only Crockett. That characterization came from HuffPost's reporting. No independent technical analysis of the ad's imagery has been published as of this reporting. Talarico, when pressed by reporters, declined to condemn the ad. Per HuffPost, he urged reporters to fact-check allegations reported as news for clicks. Per Spectrum News Texas, he said, there are a lot of accusations flying around in this primary, and tensions are rising. He maintained he had no involvement in the super PAC's advertising, citing federal law prohibiting campaign PAC coordination. The Lone Star Rising PAC did not respond to requests for comment from Spectrum News Texas at the time of that report. A University of Houston hobby school poll from January found Crockett leading Talarico 47 to 39% among likely Democratic primary voters, per Houston Public Media. Crockett told reporters her internal polling showed a close to 10-point lead. Talarico's campaign disputed that figure. Here is the confirmed record. Crockett made a public allegation, on camera, on the first day of early voting, that a primary ad darkened her skin and was, in her words, straight-up racist. Talarico did not condemn the ad. The PAC denied coordinating with his campaign. Whether the imagery was intentionally altered has not been independently confirmed. The Colbert-CBS controversy generated 8 million YouTube views and $2.5 million in donations for Talarico within 24 hours. Crockett said she was never invited on the show to discuss the Senate race. No Democrat has won a statewide race in Texas since 1994. The primary is March 3, 2026. If no candidate exceeds 50%, a runoff follows May 26th. The winner faces the Republican nominee in November. These are the facts. What they add up to is yours to decide. If you have been following this race, or you just started, stay close to it. Drop your read in the comments. Follow the story as it develops. As of this reporting in February 2026, the situation continues to develop.